Hey guys, how's it going? Roger here, Rosie here at River Real Estate, and today we have a fun and exciting market update for you. And Rosie's done a lot of digging, and that's what we're all curious about right now is how's the market? I'm getting a lot of those questions, and so Rosie, you did some inquiring into what's going on, and you're ready to share with us the findings and the things you observed.
Yeah, so I just want to add a little context to the conversation today first. So when we talk about market, um, first there are two things: is the things we hear and the things we experience. And we here at River Real Estate, our goal is to bring the in-field experience that's hyper local, something we are experiencing day in and day out. And what are the best practices we're using um, to get out of the stickiness of the market, right? So the things I'm going to share today are the things that I personally experienced in the market while I'm helping sellers move. So are sellers selling, buyers buying? Yes, but there is a different momentum to it this time. Second, there is additional. I would say there is an additional effort that's required to move the needle with the decision on a seller and a buyer. Now, is it good that buyers finally have some time to think before making a decision? Yes. Now, is this thinking can lead to overanalysis and create the paralysis in decision? 100%, right? So I'm going to actually share some of the things that we are experiencing in field, and I'm going to help you connect dots between different things. And one thing I love is that, Roger, whenever we are having this conversation, you always probe my thinking. You're like, okay, let's dig further on where we are going with this.
Yeah.
Why are we experiencing this? So I'm counting on you to go into those conversations with me today. So I'm about to share some data and graphs. So stick with me, guys. This is live, fresh data that we study for our properties, our people's properties. This is our career. This is our expertise. So have fun with what I'm about to share next.
I'm excited. So we have seen. I know the conversation right now is a lot more listings, a lot more people listing their homes on the market.
Are you able to see my screen right now, what I'm sharing?
Yeah,
Okay, so is it big enough like for everybody to read, or you want me to kind of,
I think if you can expand your window, that would be really helpful.
how's this?
That's perfect.
How's that?
Yeah.
Oh, I like this. Okay, so guys, look at this. So one of the things that I want to share with y'all is that being in real estate, we have access to every zip code in Golden Triangle, Dallas, Houston, and Austin. So because we're local in Austin, I wanted to share with you that we get reports where we highlight a zip code, right? And we can figure out in a click of a button on how many existing and new properties are being sold, what is their list price to close price ratio. You can see right here that single family residential properties, we're getting 98% of the list price to close price ratio. So overall, this is the overall number for us. And now this is the total data. This is split between two, existing and new construction, right? So there is not much new construction going on in 7655 zip code. So you're not seeing much information here. But existing home sales, they're selling at 98.3%, which is pretty good. Now, we just sold a property in 78734 zip code. I'm going to try to see if I can find that data for us. I have to get out of this, right? Hold on.
I guess you can hit stop sharing for the moment.
Oh,
Or
no.
here, there you go. I'll let you find
Are you
it.
going to help? Did you just stop sharing my screen?
Yeah, I didn't know I had that capability. That's exciting.
So
Technology.
I only have stop now. How do I start? Okay, well, let me start my share screen again.
Yeah.
Here you go. You can see this, right? So
Yeah.
78734
Can
zip
you
code.
expand your window?
Yeah, I can pan the window means make it
Yeah,
big like,
expand it. Expand it.
yeah, okay. So this window right here, if you guys look at it, it's 78734 zip code. We just recently closed a property in this neighborhood, and all data, which is new and existing, if you look at it, we have total sales of 37. existing are 35 and 2 are new. So this is very important to look at this information, because one of the things that people don't realize is that whenever we are selling existing homes, the biggest competition we experience is from new construction, right? So if I'm going into a property and I'm called in to ask to evaluate a property, the very first thing I'm going to find out is how much new builder competition we are going to have, because that's the competition you cannot beat. That's something, as a resale property, you cannot compete with that. Builders have deep pockets. They are buying rates down. They're giving closing cost credits. They are slashing prices just to move the inventory, right? So in this neighborhood, prices are not going to be competing against new construction, right? But overall, what is happening if the new construction is not happening? Existing sales are selling at 35. There is single family 31, very little condominiums. So this zip code clearly is heavy single family, existing home sales, not much new construction. So when we have heavy existing sales, we are looking at the dollar volume. There's a drop of dollar volume in sales from the previous year, right? Average price went down, right? And also average dollar volume went down. We're getting 91% of the asking price. So this is the neighborhood, I would say, existing home sales are negotiating on the sales price to move the inventory. So this is important to look at things when we are selling properties. Now I'm going to also look at one more zip code, 78717. This zip code is very central to domain area. If you guys are local here, you would see on the contrast that was Lake Travis area, where there's high school districts, high build count for resale. But at the same time, if you're looking at close to domain area, look at this, guys. People are getting 97% of what they're asking for. And there's little to no construction happening at all. And 78717 was a zip code, I would say 10 years ago, that was all new construction. So you see how new construction gets wiped out, existing homes take over the majority of the sales, and we're looking at 97% of the asking price. So if you are a homeowner, or you're a person who's about to transact in real estate, and you're looking for an expert, you want to know this information. What is your true competition? It is not the neighbor next door. It is not the neighbor across the street. It is who is building at a competitive price in your vicinity, in your zip code. Then you reverse engineer your strategy to sell the property in today's market. So this is one thing that I wanted to share. This
But
is the
there's
data.
quite the contrast. You know, we were seeing like over 100% asking price close price ratios. You know, list
Yeah,
price sold price ratios, and it definitely remained in the upper 90s for a very long time,
yeah.
even before the market peaked. And so to have it at 91, I think it shows people are willing to negotiate a little.
Yeah, yeah. Like this is 97, but when I looked at 78734 zip code, just for the contrast, this is
Mhm.
91%.
Yeah.
And this is great school district as well. So people always ask me that, okay, Rosie, I want to buy a property. I want to invest in real estate. They want to buy their homestead in a way that appreciates. And the number one thing I see people flock to is I want to buy in great school district. And I tell people all the time, if you're buying real estate, which is highly appreciating, schools is just one of the preference. It is not all of the preference, right? So
Yeah.
it is important that I think some of the people who are viewing my video right now, they're calling me. I just want you to know I cannot take your call while I'm speaking right now, but I promise I'll return your call later. So one of the things I want to share with y'all is that it is very important that you look at investments objectively, right? I want y'all to zoom out for a moment and look at it. Okay, why am I buying an investment? Is this person going to be renting here for schools? Or
Yeah.
they're going to be renting here because it's a temporary residence. When something is a temporary residence, convenience, travel, I would say walkability, proximity to the highways, major shopping centers, how quickly can I run my errands? It makes a huge difference in desirability for a tenant to live in a property. That's why apartment complexes are built in the major locations for desirability factor, for walkability factor, for accessibility factor, right? So I would say, look, this is an example. 78717 zip code does not have schools comparable to 78734. But look at the valuations here. 91% of the asking price versus when I go to 78717 zip code, It is 97%.
Well, Rosie, I was deep diving into the market this week and taking a look at like subcategories of real estate. And what I noticed is that the market overall for Austin, the median home price was down 7.4% from 2022. But when I was looking specifically for three twos, which is three bedroom, two bath, because that's what investors like, those are great rental properties. I noticed the price was down 16.2% for three twos. And so what that tells me is overall, the market's maintaining more of the price for homes that are anything besides a 3-2, which could be either condos in the high rises, or it could be larger homes, four bedroom,
Mhm.
five bedroom homes, two-story homes. Like these were, I was looking specifically at one story, three bedroom, two bath, and the largest reduction in median home price values was for that sector, for that type of house. And so I feel like, and then reading into the Dallas Fed and taking a look at what's happening, there's, jobs and wages and this type of stuff. It's a lot of, I guess, things are cooling, have been cooling down for some time. And
Yeah.
so that specific uh, type of home you can grab at a great bargain right now. And to your point, like you're saying, you could be just narrow focused and looking at schools,
Yeah.
but if
No,
you
no,
kind
no.
of keep your radar open, you can catch the other stuff that's coming in.
Yeah. And in coming weeks, we're going to be sharing with you all the things that we do when we are helping you buy a property or we are helping you invest in real estate, right? It is a decision, it is a proper blueprint that we follow. We just didn't stumble upon these things. This is 15 years of field tested, refined information, refined experience. And something we continue, and we are not saying we are know it all. We understand our gap. We're always open to learn and bring back experience, because the one thing that makes us valuable to our people is what is our field tested, refined experience in real estate, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm about to share next with you is very important. I want you to pay very keen attention to what I'm about to say next, because things get exaggerated in the social media. Because what do they want? How long do you stay on a video? How much likes and shares do you get? Right? So, but the reality could be different. So let's just crack into that belief system that our social media is doing creating for us, and let's do the right thing by looking at for ourselves what's really happening in the market we're living in. So right now, if you look at Austin sales data, Austin Round Rock, May 25, May 24. It's clear. This year versus last year. Our median sales price went down by just barely $8,000. Okay, that's less than 1.6% change. Our closed sales went down 120 less homes sold compared to last year in all of Austin Round Rock area, which is only a 3.8% decline. Our sales dollar volume went down by only 4.3%. It is not sales dollar volume went down by 50%. It is only 4.3%. Month of inventory went up by 1 month. Now, this has a huge impact because we are a city, we are a metro that's used to having half a month inventory. So for us to finally see number 5 and 4 is a big deal. New listings, there are more new listings. The new inventory and new listings have direct relationship. Inventory simply means how many listings are we carrying. So if we are seeing more inventory, it means there are new properties that are coming on the market. Now, active listings is how much is available for sale at all times. That went up by 17%. That's a huge number. That's a number to watch out for. But there is another number to watch out for: pending sales. If the number of active listings went up, so did number of pending, which means we have more properties coming on the market and we have more people looking to buy those properties as well. So 16% pending up is huge compared to last year. So what we are really trying to say is that in May of 2024, 3,889 people in Austin Round Rock area wrote a contract on a property and sent the earnest money to the title company and committed to a purchase. This year, that number went up to 4,515. Does it show us confidence in the market, or does it show us the scare in the market? It's the confidence. People are saying, okay, you know what? I'm going to buy the property. Why? Because median sales price have gone down.
Yep.
Average sales price have gone down. There is more options for people to buy. So average list price to close price ratio is always going to be impacted whenever the inventory is up. You're going to see difference in the average close to list price ratio. Now let's look at what's happening in city of Austin. As you were talking about, in city of Austin, the adjustment is not that big either, just 2% adjustment. Sales price, not too much difference. Closed sales are just down just by 5% since last year. And imagine how much jobs and unemployment rate are varying, and housing market is not that impacted yet, right? Sales dollar volume, we're down only 4.3%. Month of inventory, this 4 to 5. To me, it's like, wow, we have that much real estate to buy. This is amazing. This is a lot of inventory. And a lot of people, they get scared by this number. Oh my God, the active listings went up by 17%. Well, it's good that active listings went up by 17%, but look at what the pending sales went up by 21%. So if something is coming available for sale, so are people ready to buy as well. It means there is. Do you want to make a guess on why pending sales are up?
On why they're up?
Yep.
I think people just realize the price has gone down so much in different pockets. Like I know
Yep.
in and double digit price reductions from 2022, the
Yep.
height of the market. So like
And one of the reasons I would experience personally, like I remember my seller conversations in 2020, 2021, 2022, and I remember them back in 2012. Now, sellers are like, I get it.
okay,
I get it. I get it that everybody else is dropping the price. Like we just closed a property, and we closed the property 5 to 7% above market value. When I say market value, it means everybody else around us has dropped the price 5 to 7%. We were able to maintain it and negotiate a really good price based on our traffic, our terms, all the good stuff that we were doing to the property. Right now,
are you saying it's an adjustment for seller expectations? That's a large part what it has to do with.
100%. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. When I
Okay.
was having a conversation with the seller, our appraisal came in short. I haven't had an appraisal issue for a very long time. Like I used to have appraisal issue where things were overbid and they were not meeting value. But now I'm like, okay, why are we having an appraisal issue? We are so low in value right now because everybody else around you is dropping the price. So we need to help appraisers cut through the noise and look at things that they need to appraise things correctly. But the conversations with sellers are so flexible, they're so understanding, they're so reasonable. So if somebody has real need to move, you have an opportunity to make a deal with a seller that you didn't had 4 years ago, 3 years ago, or 2 years ago. So I would say go in, navigate the waters, and work with someone who understands why this is a key decision to make now than later and putting it in future. So now, I just want to quickly go over and show. I'm not going to bore you with all the data. This is definitely going to be available in our emails for y'all to download and review. So, Travis County, we do very similar assessment on that. Williamson County, we have very similar assessment on that. So, we basically have data like this for all the counties. So, why do we study this? Because when you are buying with us and you're selling with us, we want to look at things from the right lens rather than the emotions of a buyer and a seller. So this is just one of the things. Anything you want to add, Roger?
No, I think it's great. I think seeing the declines, I think the larger declines have happened already, and now we're starting to see things kind of find an equilibrium or kind of stabilize. And but hey, the buying opportunity is always there. It just depends on what you're looking at.
I just want to quickly shine a little bit of light on the leases because this is the data that I'm fascinated by. A lot of people are like, well, Rosie, if I cannot sell, I want to rent. No problem. I have my people who have reached out to me and they say, Rosie, I want to sell. Should I sell? I said, if you don't have to, wait a little. See if you can rent it out for another year or so. Because everything that goes down goes back up. That has been the law of real estate from the beginning of time. Nothing is going to change that now, right?
So, Rosie, what goes down must come up.
What goes down must come up, and what goes up must go down, right? So in leases, what people are really needing to have patience around is the number of days on the market. We have apartment complexes offering 2 to 3 months of free rent. Do you think they make money by doing so? No, they're just trying to keep the lights on and making sure their occupancy is maintained. And this is going to offer competition to our home leases, our residential leases, single family leases, right? So I would say have more patience when you're renting a property and also be flexible with your pricing a little bit. You're not getting exactly what you're asking for, but just a little bit less. So overall, we're not looking at 50% of the lease value, 60%, 70%, 80%. We're still looking at 97.7%, which is pretty decent for our real estate. So this is overall data. I want to just kind of summarize this one. I'm not going to have people struggle to read through this small of information. So I'm going to scan it for you a little bit up so you guys can see what's happening in May. So what we look at is 2025 sales. We have sold 3,300 homes. And when we compare it to 2021, we're used to selling almost 4,000 homes, right? So our sale number of sales have gone down, but that doesn't mean we have gone down from 3,800 to 1,500. We're still 3,800 to 3,300. Our average sales price, we're maintaining it this year. We're not like, matter of fact, it went up from 521 to 577. So overall, I would say what we need to look at is, are mortgage applications increasing or decreasing? Mortgage applications are increasing. That means buyers are realizing that they have to go into the market, they have to look at what is possible with their buying power, right? So that's why our applications went up 2.7%. And this is confidence in the market. People are wanting to buy. They are looking at applications. They are looking at what is possible. And mortgage rates were also lower all across loan types last week. This is July 2nd's data. And they have been the lowest level since April at 6.79%. So even a little bit of a decline is confidence for buyers to go in to buy the home that they're well deserving of, invest in real estate that they want to future pace their families for. So this is overall information on mortgage applications. I love seeing that. Now, weekly housing, I think I did a pretty badass job showing you guys the information on hyper local trends. But if you want to look at what's happening in June, new listings are up, active inventory is up, the homes are spending longer days on the market, and the median list price was up 0.2% year over year. So basically, what I'm trying to share here is that everything is going up, but remember, there is one thing that has also gone up along with it: the pending sales. When the pending sales go up, slowly we follow closed sales as well. So I would say look at this with discernment. If you are local in the market, find your local expert who reads this, understands this, and have them explain it to you how this relates to your real estate that you own wherever you live right now. This is
Um,
true analysis, not something of the social media, it's crashing or booming.
right, right, right. No, I think a lot of people are going to be focused in on, where we got tariffs and, that's been postponed. I think tomorrow was supposed to be the decision, but now it's August 1st. And so I think a lot of people are reading into the market, into what's to come. But also, I think we've had a major adjustment, right? So we've had jobs being impacted with interest rates going up and wage growth kind of flattening and all these sorts of things. So it's caused a reaction in the marketplace. And now the only thing is, what's your time horizon for holding the property? Like I said, Hutto's down, median home price is down, 3.2s are down almost 30% and from 2022 values. So if you want to pick up some real estate at a discount, I feel like now's a good time to do that. And because after all, when you do have this stuff in the news, remember your sellers are watching the news too. And so your sellers are aware of the tariffs, and your sellers are aware of jobs and all of these things. And so, uh, you
But
know,
there are sellers out there who are needing to move.
Yeah.
and they're also seeing the opportunity on the buying side. So one of the things that I often like to, and this is going to sound different than what people are used to hearing, and I often think that people who listen to us and they are working closely with us, they don't care for a casual routine, so we're able to get to the point quicker with them.
Yeah.
One of the things that I would say they all understand is this: a person who's looking to sell, as long as they're buying, they didn't give up anything in the market. What you give up on the sale side, you gain on the buy side if you are transacting in the real estate. The only time I tell people, I emphasize this heavily on this, the only time people lose money in real estate is when they stop buying more real estate. So as long as you buy again, if you're selling, you're going to recoup those gains when the market gets up. And whatever you left behind on the sales side, you're going to make it up in the buy side.
Yeah, I've heard you talk several people out of selling their real estate if they weren't intending on swapping it for another piece of real estate because in the
Yeah.
long run they would kick themselves in the back. So
Well,
that's
I had a hard conversation with the seller this week, and I said, guys, look, what we are asking for is not going to happen. And unless we are willing to adjust the price and reinvest the real estate, rent it out or seller finance it. A lot of realtors in the market are not familiar with seller finance. We work with over 12 strategies in investing and buying in real estate. We are proficient in it. We have experts in the market who help us do all the work. So I highly recommend, if you guys are looking for creative ways, do something rather
I
than,
love how collaborative you are too because I've had seen agents approach you and say, "Well, I don't know how to do a seller finance," and you said, "Look, we'll work through it together. Don't worry about it."
yeah, I was at one day, there was one time where I didn't know what it was, and somebody was willing to hold my hand through it. And it's not about who knows more, it's about making a match of a seller with the right buyer. And if a problem, like we have a beautiful campaign running right now, when bank says no, seller says yes, right? So if seller is able to carry the note, then it's a win-win for everyone. So I'm excited to do some of those deals. I enjoy out of the box creative deals. I think um, I think we create new possibilities that way.
I've never seen anything get in your way when you're determined for the outcome. So that's really cool. And I think a lot of people, realizing what's on the line for somebody actually helps us do a better job too, because you can really arise to the occasion when it's just not a house. There's more to it. So that's really cool. Well, Rosie, we had a beautiful show today. So in a nutshell, what would you say about the market?
In a nutshell, I think numbers have proven a couple of things. Number one, good schools are not always the primary factor to sustain value. There are many more factors, and if you want to find out, reach out to us. We'll set up a consultation and we'll share with you on how we help navigate the waters of real estate with people. Second, just because we have high months of inventory and we have high active listings, that doesn't mean things are going to go downhill, because there's this one factor of number of pending sales, which is going to change the game completely.
Yeah.
Number three, John. Hi, John. Good seeing you, buddy. And number three, look at buyer confidence in the market. If the mortgage applications are starting to go up, that means buyers are like, okay, let me scoot in. If the buyer expectations are changing around interest rate, so are seller expectations changing around the pricing. So just don't take things for the face value. If you are truly interested in making home buying or home investing true for yourself and you have the right people in your corner, there's nothing that's going to get in the way of you acquiring real estate. Matter of fact, the people who are going to be acquiring real estate now are going to be the ones who are going to celebrate the most later. It
Oh,
might not feel pretty right now. It's almost like the workout, right? In the moment you're doing the workout, you're hating the next rep, it's hurting and it's your legs are shaking. You're like, I can't wait to just throw this bar down or push this reformer away.
Rosie, there's a house I saw, and it's currently for sale, right? And I think it might be listed in the twos in Austin. And I said, you couldn't get this property if you wanted to in a good market. In a good market, good
Oh, I
one.
know which one you're talking about. Oh my gosh, like if we were not this close to the deal, I think I would have bought it. Um, I I know. You know, it feels good actually. I like this because I remember when I was new in real estate, I used to hear other people who were veterans in real estate
Yeah.
say, "Oh my gosh, you were able to buy real estate here for $115,000." And then later on, I was selling those properties at 400. I was like, "What were those times?" Right? And now I'm going to get to tell people going forward like I sold this for 350, and I because these are like 500 square footage condos in downtown, right? Like a 500 condo for a 350 is a pretty badass deal. And now they are selling for 210, 195. I'd like to be able to say that contrast. I remember the real estate in the same neighborhood that I sold for 600 plus. I just personally sold that property under 450.
There's been major recalibration in the market. So
Yeah.
it's fun. It's fun to
And-
look at that. I just hate
yeah.
the selling side, but
Yeah, this is the market. You got to put your head down, be hyper focused on what you are skilled at, solve problems meticulously, and
would you say take the interest rate and marry the price is still would you say that's still accurate?
I said marry the price, date the interest rate. Yeah,
Still
I
true,
would
huh?
say flirt with the interest rate,
I know we were saying that
the
back in
price.
yeah, we were saying that back in 2023 and we're in 2025 now. So is it still relevant?
No, actually, if you're in the home buying phase, then marry the home price and date the interest rate. But if you are owning a real estate right now, then unless you're buying another property, stay married to your current real estate
Yeah.
and only flirt with other
We wanted
properties.
that relationship.
I don't know. My
Well,
head is these allergies have gotten me, so my head is not that clear today on coming up with cool slangs or
hey, so
whatever.
you provided 32 minutes of value and Bree's not here and
Oh,
we're
I sent her a message. Bree's working on herself today, so I'm excited for her. And I sent her a picture. I was like, "You're missing." So, guys, today we delivered 32 minutes and 23 seconds of high value market analysis. And yeah, John, there are articles that are going to move people all the time. But here's one thing that's going to happen: the data centers that have been established, the Tesla plants that have been built, they're not going to shut them down and move them back, right? That's way big of infrastructures that are already built. $17 billion in Samsung. So, yes, there are industries who are probably finding it more lucrative to go back. It means they were not on ground yet, they were just in the news. That's why I say what stays in news goes away in news. But what lands on the ground and gets built on the ground stays on the ground. So buy real estate, not
I think John's probably onto something. Like you got companies moving in. At the end
yeah.
of the day, I like to look at the net migration number, how many people came, but then how many stayed. Because we can get carried away with the numbers, and we don't want to make anything sound too good to be true or anything like that. You got to be objective. And so my question would be, if those companies do move away from Austin, what does that mean in terms of buying these properties at a further discount, and then can you rent them out, or would it make sense to buy then? So considering that the people that are moving here want to be here, have a 5 to 7 year time horizon to hold on to that investment at least, does it make sense for them to buy now? And so and I would say, thankfully, housing inventory isn't skyrocketing. We got home builders are gonna, with tariffs and everything else, there's a lot to take in. So I say like micro focus into the areas that you really like, or share with us what you expect from your investments, and then we can cater a personalized plan for you that way. Because I think to both of y'all's points, there's fads, there's new waves of today Austin's cool, tomorrow it's not, and then it may be cool again. And so but ultimately putting your investor cap on, what does it mean for your investment to be doing well, and where can you buy in these pockets that are performing really well.
And one of the things that I just want to kind of wrap up the conversation with is that investment comes up with a very heavy feeling sometimes. I feel like people look at investments and they just think like bunch of charts and numbers and graphs and calculations and PITIs. Guys, investment is just as simple as this. Your down payment in a home. That's it. Is
Yeah.
that simple as that. What property are you going to put it in, and what kind of gains are you going to get? And
Yeah.
while you're getting the gains, do you have the patience to stick through the ups and downs? That's it. It's that simple. It's no different than choosing to buy a car. Now, you're going to buy within your livelihood or your budget for your living, or you're going to go out and just because you had one good month, you're going to go buy a Ferrari. Then how are you going to sustain the Ferrari, right? So
Yeah.
the same thing goes into real estate. Buy something that is within your means, and never buy the biggest house in the neighborhood. And if you go for the cheapest house in a neighborhood, you will always come out winning. There's no risk in it.
And
But most
I think the time horizon is really closing in on us before the robots take over.
I don't know
You
what that
know?
is. I don't
So
know what
I'm
that
just
is.
saying, like, there's a lot going on. So get with us. Let's look at your investment strategy and your plan, and let's cater to you.
Oh, well, humans are becoming that much special.
Right,
All
right.
right, cool. So, 36 minutes and 36 seconds of high value conversation, guys. Thank you so much for being with us. This is a reminder for us as much as it is for you all. Look, we don't claim to be somebody who knows it all, but we always are willing to cover our gaps and grow. And whatever we learn, we bring it to you so we are better together. Have a wonderful day, guys. Enjoy your evening, enjoy your afternoon. Can't wait to see you next Tuesday. Bye
All
bye.
right, guys. Take care. Bye.